Here with head men's basketball coach Blake Mellinger after the South Atlantic Conference Carolinas Challenge last weekend to open the season. Blake, we'll start there. You guys go 1-1 on the weekend with a win on the first day, 90-69 over King. And then obviously most people saw it, the heartbreaking, tough loss to Lees McRae in the last minute, at the last second, really, on Sunday to end the event. Let's go chronologically. We'll start with King first. Really good game from you guys. You mentioned post-game how you guys did what you wanted to do. You kept them off the glass. You beat them in second chance points. That's a tough defense. And we saw King the following day play Carson Newman, who dominated Lees McRae really tough. And, you know, some might even say King should have won that game. Carson Newman came back late and won by 2. And you guys beat King pretty handily. What did you like in that first game? Obviously some good offensive performances, but I thought the defense played well too.
Yeah, I think that was the most pleasing thing was how well we defended. We had a very specific game plan going into that game to keep them out of the paint and keep them off the offensive glass. And I think for the most part, we were able to accomplish that. And that was what led to our success. I think offensively, both games we played really well. Just that first game against King, I thought we really guarded and really executed our defensive game plan.
And against Lees McRae and the next day, you know, you guys guarded pretty well too. They had some tough shots and they really did not miss pretty much the whole game. They shot above 50% from the floor. They knocked down some threes too. Late in that game is when they really kind of kept it going. What was your kind of grade of overall outlook of the defensive performance in that game on a night where they just really kind of hit some tough shots?
Yeah, like in the midst of the game, I was like, man, we're not guarding very well at all. And, we went back and watched it, and I was texting with their coach like that night after we played, and we were talking about it, like it kind of reminded you of an NBA game. Like, I think we had guys on both sides, like our side and their side, that were really making tough shots. I thought we let them get to the paint off the dribble a little too much. I think that's the biggest takeaway. They scored 44 points in the paint. And I think a big part of that was they came out and hit a flurry of threes early in the first half, and that kind of opened us up, caused our defense to spread out a little bit. Then the rest of the night, it was just like, they were beating us off the dribble too much. We were a little late on our rotations at times, and at the same time, I think you got to give them credit. Like they played a really good offensive game too. So, as far as an overall grade, I'd probably give it like probably a C plus. I definitely think there's some areas there where we could have been better, but at the same time, I think they made some really good offensive plays as well.
And obviously late in the game, everything that happened, Zion Brewster back-to-back steals in a matter of 6 seconds to tie the game. They go down and hit the 3. They put 0.4 back on the clock. You guys ran that play where Carmelo Pacheco screens for Shelley, who was the inbounder, who could run the baseline. Pacheco gets ran through. Most people would have thought it was a charge. I thought it was live. I don't think it does anybody any good to go back and kind of, grade the officials on that play. But I'm curious, was that the game plan with so little time? Was that your hope to just draw a foul and try to get to the free throw line with them in the bonus?
Yeah, that we figured that was our best chance. We told Pat, the inbounder, like, run across the baseline, and then as soon as Melo was at the free throw line, we told him right before he changed his direction, sprint up to the baseline, and so when he changed his directions to come back, we were hoping that the on-ball defender would basically run over Melo, and he kind of did. Like we were putting it in the officials' hands. Like that's a tough call at that point in the game because if you don't call it, we're mad. If you do call it, the Lees McRae staff is mad. So it's kind of you put that official in a no-win situation. So you're just, with 0.4 seconds on the clock, it's really hard you can't really get a shot off, especially going the length of the court. So we just figured that was our best chance to try to, hopefully bait him into calling a foul there and, put us on the free throw line.
Overall, though, a lot of positives to take away from the weekend. You guys shoot 50% in total in both games from deep. A lot of paint points, a lot of second chance points. The biggest thing that stood out to me, 51 bench points in the first game, 57 in the second game. You and I and your staff talked about it before the season even started, how much deeper this team is, and sorting out the rotation, how difficult that's going to be for you guys as a staff, but a good problem to have. And what a great start to the season to kind of prove that that depth is there with over half your points coming off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, it's like, our lineups are kind of going to be maybe not necessarily the starting lineup, but just the rotations you kind of go with throughout the game. It's going to be based on matchups a lot. I mean, they had two really, really good guards and another really good wing player. So like we felt like we had to keep our better on-ball defenders on the floor a little more against Lees McRae than say maybe we did against King. But it could be a game. There could be a different game down the road where like we have to play bigger, or we have a team has more shooting. So I think the good thing about it is like with our roster, we have that versatility to do that. So there's no doubt that we have like two or three key guys that we're going to want to keep out there a lot. But I think we've got, like I've just mentioned, a lot of versatility with our lineups and our roster to kind of mix and match matchups throughout the course of a game.
And you mentioned key guys that are going to want to be out there a lot. I think one that maybe put himself on that list in the first weekend is Deuce Wingfield, 12 points in game one, 21 in game two, a career high for him as he transferred from Lemoyne, which is now transitioning to Division One. What did you see from him, and what did you like about his performance in the two games?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought he was really dynamic on both ends of the floor. He's getting to the paint, he was making shots. He didn't really he had a few too many turnovers that second game, but he's sharing the basketball for the most part. I think as he gets more comfortable, he's going to be better with our reads and our offense. But overall, I think he played really well from an offensive standpoint, and then defensively, he's probably our best on the ball defender. He's a guy that can guard multiple positions because of his size and athleticism. He can guard smaller guards. We can also guard bigger wings. So I think that's one thing from him also. He gives us so much versatility from a defensive standpoint.
So looking forward to tomorrow as we have this conversation on Tuesday. You guys got Johnson and Wales, a non-conference coming up at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. First time ever playing these guys, a non-conference team that some of your other conference opponents in the past have played. First-year head coach for them, Mark Slade. They've had a couple winning seasons in years past, last year below 500. Just what have you seen on the scouting report from Johnson and Wales, and what are some keys to a victory for you guys?
Yeah, I think for us, it's really about sticking to our principles on both ends of the floor. Our ball screen coverages are going to have to be good. They run set a lot of ball screens in their offense. So not only our coverages, but our rotations on the backside. They like to attack the paint. So from that standpoint, I think it's very similar to the Keene game. We've got to keep them out of the paint, make them beat us over the top, and then we got to rebound. So I think those are our keys to success on most nights from a defensive standpoint. And I think it'll be no different tomorrow against Johnson and Wales.
Well, that game's coming up at the Pryor Center, 7 p.m. against Johnson and Wales, UVA Wise. You can catch it at the Pryor Center or on Flow Sports with me and Steve Curran. Coach, good luck. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.